Yo, what's up? Yeah, this is for the players. This is for the team. Everybody ready? Let's go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the official PGS Podcast with your boy Zach, aka Zach Bedrino. How you guys doing? Hope you're well. Hope you've had a good week so far. So welcome. I just wanted to have a quick review of our last show, which was a very, very good show. We had Sim One. You know, he was hilarious. But we want to thank you for coming on and really gracing our audience with your presence and with your advice as well on some of the Pro Club tips, builds, etc. We've got a really good show coming up for you today, this evening. An amalgamation of, I would say, a community-esque type show. So we're talking everything PGS community and more. And to help me do that, we've got obviously I've got Cozy in the background. He's helping out as always. Big shout out to Cozy. I've got Umar, who will be helping out with me today. Do you know what? The funny thing is, the PGS have actually got quite a few pro players, and we are blessed to have that many players within our midst. So Umar, I'm looking forward to Umar coming on, and also he'll be helping me out with the FUT Show as well in due course. But without further ado, before we talk about the rest of the show, I want to talk a little bit about some of the leagues that have been happening within the PGS. So, you know, I'm a part of quite a few of them. And one of the things I'm always quite insistent on doing every single week or every other week when we're on is bigging up the admins. You know, they do great work within the PGS. But I want to stress that the admin's job isn't easy at all. And, you know, we're always in communication about things that we can better in terms of the process. But I just want to take this time to big every one of those admins up because at the end of the day, it's a free role. So they're doing the job voluntarily. So big up to you guys. Continue with the great work that you're doing across the PGS network. Right. So also want to shout out Cozy because he has been running these tourneys simultaneously with doing an amalgamation and a myriad of work for the PGS. But in the last few weeks, he's hosted a few tournaments, of which we've had some really big sponsors. So and one of which we've got the tourney winner with us today. He's going to be gracing our screens, telling us a little bit about his win and the lovely cash bonus that he won as well. But before that, I want to just highlight some of the sponsors that we've had. So for the last tournament that we put on, that Cozy put on behalf of the PGS, we had the Controller Mods sponsor us. So shout out to Controller Mods. And this tournament happening this evening, it's going to be sponsored by Real Foot Cards. So shout out to Real Foot Cards. So these tourneys are getting massive now. You know, we're starting to get some big time sponsors sponsoring us. So we'll make sure that you definitely join us for the next tourney if you haven't joined tonight. Right. So without further ado, I'd like to interview our first guest, please, or introduce our first guest. His name is EP1C James, and he won our last tournament. I think it was a PS5 tournament. James, is that yourself?
Yeah.
Yes,
Hello.
it is you.
Yes,
How you doing, mate?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Lovely. Now, we've had two young-ish winners. So how old are you, if you don't mind me asking? James?
16.
Right, same age as Harvey. So you know our previous winner, Harvey. Have you played Harvey before?
Yeah. I'm quite good friends with Harvey, yeah.
Okay, cool. So you have you got bragging rights, or you're not prepared to say?
I wouldn't say so. Not at the moment. Okay. Not at the moment.
Fair enough. I know you don't want to embarrass him because we know how he gets when he gets under pressure. But listen, James, talk to me a bit about the journey. So I'm assuming you found out via Harvey, or are you a part of the PGS in the platform?
So I'm quite good friends with Harvey and Clangbanger, who's Josh Wake, and we're like quite good friends. Yep. And they introduced me to the tournaments, and I only started playing like a couple. And then when I saw it was sponsored by Controller Mods, I wanted to play it. And I know Harvey was in that, so it was quite a good competition. And
nice.
Yeah, I fortunately won it.
That's brilliant. Do you know what? I've got to say, this is a good look for us because it means that you guys will be with us for the next 10 years at least. And potentially still in your teens, you know. But listen, in terms of the actual tournament and stuff, so the structure was obviously quite rigid. How many teams entered this tournament, and how many rounds did you have to get through?
I think it was about 4 or 5 rounds. I think it was because I watched him do the draw on YouTube.
So 5 rounds. I mean, did you find the competition healthy? Did you feel that you sailed through, or did you feel that it was, a tough one?
I thought in the latter stages it was tough because in the final I played the person who beat Harvey, so obviously I knew he was going to be a good player.
Sure.
And I went 2-0 down, and I was a bit struck back by it, but I did manage to claw it back and win it.
That's good. That's good. So normally, I don't know if obviously you've been in a party with Harvey, but when Harvey goes 2-0 down, I mean the whole air goes blue. so was that the same scenario you had when you were 2-0 down?
I just kept it calm. I
Nice.
knew I could. I believed in myself, so I knew I could do it.
Good. I'm pleased to hear it. I mean, so does that mean that you're going to enter another tournament via the PGS? Another PS5, or are you bored now? Is that enough?
Nah.
One maiden win and that's it.
Nah, I'm more of a PS5 person. I don't really like playing the PS4 version. So when them PS5 tournaments come up, I'll be playing.
You definitely play PS5. So I mean, let me break that one down a little bit. So because I've had a lot of people say the same thing. Now, my the consensus that I've heard is, that the PS5 is a lot slower than the PS4, gameplay wise. I mean, why is the PS5 version better than the PS4 version?
Well, because this year I came over from Xbox because obviously the Pro scene's just on PS. Yeah. So I've never really played PS4, and the PS5 I had to adjust to it, and I was used to it. And then when I started playing PS4, it's just a completely different game, really.
It is indeed. I mean, I've heard a lot. Do you know what's funny though, James? A lot of people that have PS5 prefer to play the PS4 version, so they'll really? Buy the PS4 version of the game. Yeah. I mean, I play a lot of PS5 owners, but they all play the PS4 version. But I have heard next gen it's a lot slower, so it's a lot easier to win the games. But okay, so in terms of the tourney, then what was the winnings? I understand that you had some cash winnings there as well.
Yeah, it was a £75 voucher for controller mods.
Wow, £75 voucher, right? So just to give you sort of a versus. So when Harvey won, I'm trying to remember how much cash he won. I don't think it was up to that. I think he won what? Is it 30 quid? Which he banked straight away. I think he's probably still got it in his bank now. And sort of a few weeks on, it's now 75 quid. Bragging rights, beating the person that beat Harvey. I mean, I won't message Harvey after this. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get loads of abuse from my messages, but it's all good. So I mean, what do you play any other tournaments elsewhere, or are you just keeping it strictly PGS? What's your story?
I play like a few of the just like free tournaments, like on Rush.gg and any ones that I can really find, really. But like Harvey and Clangbang, they've been like linking me all the tournaments because I'm like new to the scene, so I don't really have any idea on what I'm doing, really. So I'm just like following their path.
Really, that's good. So I mean, do you have future aspirations to just keep it fun, or are you ambitious enough to take it down to the next level of pro gaming?
I obviously I do it for the fun, and like the prizes are just like an add-on. But I feel like if I put my mind to it, I could possibly see myself doing it competitively. But at the moment, I'm just playing it for fun, and then the prizes are just add-ons.
Nice, just chilling, just banking all the winnings.
Yeah.
And then next year you'll be like, right, I've won all this money. Sign me up now. Cool. No worries. That's good. I mean, so did you want to? Is there anyone you wanted to shout out? Anything you wanted to say about the tourney? I mean, obviously you won it. So as a winner of the tournament, it'd be good to understand how you felt the tournament was run. Just to give us any suggestions so we can better it going forward, really.
I thought the tournament was really well run, to be honest. Like I put in the review after that. It's my first one, and I didn't really have anything to say like bad about it. Like it was just really well run. Everything on the app is just like perfect, and you put the score in, confirmed immediately, and then you just have your game. So it's really well run and smooth. It's brilliant.
It's good to hear. I mean, there were a lot of people smiling gracefully after that comment there, James. Well done, thank you. So James, have you got any shout outs you want to put out there before we let you go?
Just Harvey and Josh and Clangbanger, yeah.
Everyone. I think
for linking me.
One of them shouted you out in the chats, so he's there. They've gotten in there before you guys, But it's all good. Listen, James, you've been an absolute star, mate. Much appreciated. Feel free to tell all your other 16-year-old friends that we run tournaments. Maybe they'll come and win as well. Tell them it's not easy. Don't know how you guys are winning these tournaments every single week, but well done, mate. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And enjoy the rest of your weekend, mate.
Yeah, you too. Cheers. Thank you.
Right, so that was James. Great kid. I mean, these winners are getting younger. So So, chaps, ladies and gents, what's happening? Let's have a conversation. Let's get together, us oldies, and start winning some of these tournaments. I think. Do you know what? I think I entered one of this tournament once. I entered that tournament once, and I didn't get too far. I don't think I've entered since, so I'm scarred. But I am going to enter again, I promise, and hopefully I'll do better. But yeah, James, I want to thank you again for coming on, mate. Enjoy the winnings if you haven't started already. Can we just is it possible to bring Umar in? So Umar, I talked about Umar earlier. He is going to be my colleague on the FUT Show. Umar, how you doing, mate?
I'm not too bad, mate. How about you?
Good. Not too bad, man. Not too bad, man. So we've been talking a little bit about the FUT Show going forwards.
Yeah.
And we've also been talking and we've been working together on the academy stuff. So today's show is all about the community. We met on the community, and essentially we met because, you know, you are a professional FIFA player. So talk to us a little bit about your journey in the pro scene and how you got connected to the PGS, mate.
Well, the pro scene, it's not easy, let's say. It's not the easiest thing to get into. I'll start from the beginning. So with me, I got into FIFA quite recently, I'd say. There's a lot of players that started from FIFA 04, you know, back in the glory days. You had FIFA 04, 05, you know. I started on FIFA 15. That's when I started FIFA, yeah.
Same.
Did you?
Yeah.
And then I went into the pro scene in 2019. After grinding, I used to be the best player, but it was my cousin who was about 8 years old at the time who was teaching me how to play FIFA.
Right.
And that's where it all started. But once I got into the pro scene, I did go to Man City. I did reach the club playoffs for Man City. I believe that was in 2019 and 2020.
Nice.
2021, I entered for Fulham, but due to unforeseen circumstances, I couldn't go to the club playoffs, so I had to withdraw myself. But guaranteed, if I went, I would have smashed it then as well.
Of course. I've seen you play, man. So that's legit. That's legit.
But it's something that's hard to get into. I won't sugarcoat it by saying that everyone can make into it, because it's a pro scene for a reason, but with determination, dedication, and the right training, I think anyone can make it, to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
You just, that's why coaches are here. That's why, you know, when I went into PGS, there's the standard of coaching, the standard of players here are amazing, because I've been in a lot of esports and a few esports organizations before, and the players we have, the organization, the structure of PGS is just completely different. So I believe with, you know, James and Harvey, you know, they are the face of PGS, and with more training, I think they can be real contenders for global series as well, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I mean, Harvey, I've said it. I've been consistently saying this for a while. Maybe it's a biased comment from me, but because I obviously work a lot closely with Harvey, but or checking on him as and when he has games. But the guy, he's very good. I mean, I've seen the game. I always say normal FIFA, and then there's decent FIFA, and then there's all right players, and there's very good, and there's genius levels.
Yeah, then there's God tier.
Cezinio, Harvey. You know, obviously, I've not seen James play, but if he's being Harvey, he's got to be a good player, and again, younger mate. So I'm about to hang up my controllers. I'm about to put these controllers down and just say, you know what? I'm not 16 anymore.
Let the younger generation take over.
You know, but you know what? I think you hit the nail on the head with a couple of points there, Umar, because you talked about with the right training and the right tips and right advice. One of the things that you and I are doing, along with Cozy and along with some of the other staff of the PGS, is, you know, to advise the community on any requests or help they need with respect to FIFA. Now, the funny thing is, a lot of people approach us, and the most common, comments are or responses are, look, you know, I just want to have fun. You know, can you please advise me as to what chemistry I should put on this guy or this person, just to kind of make it through. And do you know what's quite funny is you tell someone to put an engine on De Bruyne instead of a Hunter card, and then they come back to you and say that De Bruyne scored a hat-trick the other game, or he felt better. You know, I could actually run past the player, and you know, but you know, in the real world, this type of advice costs money.
Yeah,
you know, and you have to go through a whole leap of rubbish to get to the gold mine that you need.
Yeah.
You know those adverts
Mm.
or those storylines that say this big story, like shock storyline, and then you're reading the whole paper, you can't
Yeah.
find it. You
Yeah.
get to the
Yeah.
end, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's what you meant. So but I think with us, we've had quite a few good reviews in terms of the time it takes for us to get get to a request.
Yeah.
And it's just a simple tips. You don't have to actually play the game with someone to
Yeah.
teach them how to play or coach them. You can just tell them what to do. That's my experience. I mean, what was your experience with, or what has been your experience with doing the coaching with the PGS guys?
I think coaching, it's been a real experience for me. It's similar to the points with what you said about the chemistry styles and about simple things that we can just advise players with to get their gameplay better. From the way I see it, let's say I'm playing FIFA and I want advice. I won't be able to see the improvement myself. I know that something needs working, but it's someone external that'll be able to see it, and that's what's
Absolutely.
happening when people are coming to us. They know something's wrong, but they don't know what it is, and they're
Yeah.
coming to us, and we're fixing the problem. That's initially what's going on.
That's it. Do
And,
you know what?
and that's
We should swap sweet seats, mate, because you've articulated that point better than I would, and I spent the 10 minutes explaining it. But that's exactly it. And I think I was going to read out some testimonials, but I'll find them first and then read them out. But off the top of my head, there's been a few. I mean, we've had a couple of our community guests on the
Yeah.
show, the likes of Luke. We've even got one of our admin, Tony, who I've had spent a lot of time with, asking. And what really pleases me is that people aren't prideful to ask. It's a case of, I'm one of those guys where I'll watch and research stuff for ages
Yeah.
instead of asking someone, yo,
Yeah.
bro,
Yeah.
like, what do I need to put on Bruno? Because
Yeah.
I'm struggling. I'll go and read a paper and I'll stand there for like an hour and a half until I
Hard
get
work
the
pays
evidence.
off, as they say.
But I'm so glad that there are people out there who are willingly asking, because you know what, mate? We will offer you the help.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's limited. We're
Yeah.
not there 24/7.
Well, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
I wish we could be, but we're not there. But it's limited. So, but whatever help you need, you just, that you desire, we will give it to
Yeah.
you. I mean, Uma,
Yeah.
I know you've actually been quite active in the last few weeks. What sort of what do you think I would say are the most commonly asked questions that you come across?
I would say usually it starts with a player wanting to get better. And my go-to first is formation, instruction, custom tactics, because the team and the custom tactics and the instructions need to work together to help your gameplay. Obviously, it's about how the player plays. That's a given. If you have the best team in the world, you have the best custom tactics, but you're not playing properly, it's not going to work. But I think let's say in attacking you have the ball. Now these custom tactics, if you're on forward runs, let's say your players are going to make forward runs. If you're on direct passing, your players are going to be there to make the passes to you. Now we have to advise players based on how their game style is and get bespoke custom tactics to them and see what works for them, basically.
Absolutely. And what's funny is, even from the other side of the spectrum, as a player asking these questions, I understand the excitement, especially when you get told something and it works. You're like, wow.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, so what do you think about this? And you get addicted. You want to know a bit more. So obviously, one thing I would say, and I do speak on behalf of all the coaches, is, please bear with us. This is something that we are voluntarily doing for you.
Yeah.
So, if it gets to a point where you've had more than enough advice, well, I think common sense can tell you how much more advice you think you had. But obviously there will be charges levied against some of the questions that you may need answered, or that may involve a coach jumping on line to actually physically coach you. So it does take time. I think everybody works. And I just like to shout out to all the coaches who have given their time. Okay, looking at the other spectrum then, Umar, what do you believe has been the most frustrating of questions that we've had in the coaching side of things?
I would say most recently, there was a player that was struggling with passing, and he was asking how he can stop giving the ball away.
Yeah,
It's frustrating because, firstly, without his gameplay, I don't know what to suggest really. But secondly, when it comes to passing, it's more of possession, isn't it? If you don't want to give the ball away, keep possession, and to keep possession, you have to
Yeah.
do short and long passes. But you have to use your logic in FIFA. You have to use a lot of let's say. It's the simplest things in FIFA that help. You don't always need to do the complicated things.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, there's so many players that just spam the right stick when you don't need to do it always.
There's no point in asking for advice if you're not going to take it on. One of the things that we don't coach is skill moves. Because essentially the game is about knowing what to do, where your players are,
Yeah.
and effectively as well. Chemistry is very important. There's no
Yeah.
point having 50 chem. You've got a god squad. It's
Yeah.
just not going to work.
Yeah.
So please jump on to the academy, have a breeze through, have a peruse, and see what we do. Any questions you have, put it in there. You find that there's content there every day. If it's not an SBC promo helping you with how to build a team, it's a meta player that you should get or buy, trading tips, everything. There is quite a lot of people affiliated to the PGS that have actually benefited from all this advice. Umar, let's move on and talk about the FUT Show.
Yeah.
Right. So essentially, the FUT Show is going to be all about Ultimate Team.
Yeah.
Now, we're starting late in the day on 22 because we now understand what all the gripes, all the issues, all the positives are in readiness for 23. So the show, I mean, we're probably gonna announce when it will be on the next podcast potentially. If not, please check out our Twitter and all our social mediums. But the FUT Show will include tips on how to address the game. We're here to help. So it will consist of all that. We'll have guests on. Tourney winners will be on as well. The likes of James, likes of Harvey, likes of Zonino. All our Sim1 has agreed to come on. So it's going to be an action-packed show, and it will be during the week as well. So we understand that everyone plays PGS leagues, and even I do. It's going to be very difficult to fit that in, but we will make it happen because that's what we do. I mean, what aspects of the show are you looking forward to, Emma?
I gotta say, I'm really looking forward to the part when the competitors that win tourneys. I'm looking forward to the advice they give and what helps them.
Yeah.
Not because there is the point that it'll help other players, but I want to see FIFA from other perspectives of other players. I think it's quite interesting because every player is different when it comes to FIFA, and everyone has a different perspective.
Indeed.
There's a lot of people that like it. And there's a lot of people that dislike it.
Hate it. Yeah.
That's
you know what's funny though? What's interesting is, I mean, I'm probably bordering the hate, one of the haters, but every year you'll find me in that queue, paying my big monies just to get the preview, before everyone else. 3 day early access.
Early access.
So I mean, I think everyone does it. What it is, the game is really addictive. You wanna conquer it. It's like when you buy those games, you just want to clock it straight off. I remember buying Halo back in the day, and I just wanted to finish this game on Xbox like the same night.
Yeah.
It was never gonna happen. But when I finally finished it, but with FIFA, it's not a game you can actually ever be perfect at, in my opinion. You can be very good, but there's always going to be that demon somewhere that's better than you. It's going to come and wipe the floor.
It's hard for you to accept as well when they're better.
It's very hard. What? I've many nights where I've sat in my chair thinking about my life because I've just lost 3 straight games of FIFA.
Yep.
This is what it does to us, mate. What's going on?
It makes you question your own abilities.
It's not good. So that's why we obviously we speak in jest, and we speak in bants, but that's why a lot of these mental health issues do come up. So look, all of these things that we're trying to do, there are methods to the madness. We're not just sat here thinking, oh, we're bored, let's just think of another show. No, it's a slight supply and demand, and a lot of people have requested further help. So even if it gets to the point where you feel that help isn't there, I promise you, on the FUT Show, it will dissect all the issues and granulate everything you need to know about what needs to happen next. Because do you know what? You're going to be talking to pro players. So in terms of your sort of journey, now I know you're helping out and you're very intrinsically involved in the coaching elements. Has that taken time away from your professional gaming, or are you still sort of? Because I remember when I was talking to you about stuff, and I was even trying to get you to stream your games
Yeah.
on your own channel.
Yeah.
Also, what's the update on that?
Well, when it comes to my own personal Twitch channel, I think it's because it's like the end of FIFA 22, and FIFA 23 is coming. So I haven't done as of yet, but I am going to be posting up content very soon. I think in order for people to pick up tips, tricks, they do need to come in, don't they?
Yeah.
And it will be up sooner rather than later.
Nice. That's good to hear, man.
But
That's good to hear.
I'm still consistent with my performance in FUT Champs. I haven't been able to play FIFA much lately, but I'm still getting 17 and 3, 16 and 4, 18 and
Nice.
2
Okay.
quite regularly with a
I mean,
196 team now.
it's like changing our in our schedule. So what we're going to do is we're going to go straight into some of the other reviews that we've had on the academy, because I think it's wise to pick that one up. We are trying to get people to boost the server.
Yeah.
We're trying to get people to ask us as many questions as they want, but also please, I mean, we've had, look, you're not going to have a service where there isn't going to be some obstacles to overcome, and you will get those couple of individuals that will try and make things difficult. So we have had a few issues, but listen, I have to say, I think there's 2-3 of us on the coaching side. So if you can imagine 3 versus 8,000 million hundreds, it's just not going to work. So I'm one of those guys that if I see something, I want to action it straight away. But unfortunately, throughout the day today, it's just very difficult. So we do apologize. But also, if you do get help from us, please don't forget to leave reviews. I mean, the reviews will help us, garner more people that want to, receive this help. I'm going to go into the chat quickly. How you doing, Ben, aka RS? And he's asking the question: why do folk rubber band controllers in champs? I mean, Umar,
Well,
I'll lay out that one, mate, because I don't get it.
People rubber band in champs early on in the year. They used to do it, and this is verified as well. They used to do it because there was actually an objective in champs where you got ultimate pack or something like that if you scored in 200 champs matches or something like that. So they used to do it for that. But then as the year just went on, I think they were just doing it because they can. That's the simplest answer of it. It's frustrating for the other player because you're wasting 15 minutes of your life.
Exactly. I don't understand it. Do you know what? When I know it's going to happen is when there's like 2 pauses, subs, and there's no subs coming on, and it's just like 2 pauses. It's like, hold on a second, bruv. That's like 20 seconds times 2.
Exactly.
Gone.
Exactly.
And you brought no subs on. All right, cool. I know what's going to happen. AFK all day long. All right, cool. So
that's when sweat mode activates.
It's just really bad. But yeah, I mean, listen, that's a great point. That's a very good point to raise. I mean, these are the type of points that we want to, granulate a bit further on the FUT Show. Listen, it happens all the time. I've had loads of it. I mean, I play co-op with James a lot, and we have some people. Sometimes they go AFK, they go ghost. Just think, why, mate? Like, I ain't got time to waste. But so if anybody can tell me why they do it, to tell me why, because I'm quite curious. I'd want to know why you'd actually do that. Right. So I just wanted to do a quick recap. I'll get my words out of my mouth. We had James on earlier, a previous PS5 20 winner. And I was saying, Umar, these winners are getting younger and younger, man. I mean, I feel like I'm about to hang up my controller.
I've got grey hairs already, honestly. I'm only 24.
16-year-olds winning the tourneys all day long. But also, importantly, our tourneys are actually growing in stature and growing in brand. So we've had our tourney sponsored by Real Foot Card. This particular tourney tonight happening right now as we speak. The last tourney we had on that James won was sponsored by Troller Mods. We are getting recognized, and that's a very good look. Big up to the bosses for continuously putting a name out there, putting a brand out there, and big up to Cozy for putting on these great tourneys. So, Umar, when's the next big game for you in terms of your next sort of tournament, if you decide to enter one? Have you got a schedule prepared yet?
Well, I do actually, and that schedule is in FIFA 23. No, FIFA 23, just because I found out recently from Harvey and a couple of others that if you want to enter the FUT Global Series, the qualification process is usually you have to reach elite by February, plus you have to register on the FUT.gg website and the FUT Champions website. Now, I don't know how it is on PS5, but and PS4, but on Xbox, I got to there in literally 2 days
Yeah,
after it came out. So if that's the qualification process, that means for Global Series, I should be entering that hopefully, followed by the Premier League as well.
nice.
I do work, etc., but I think FIFA's been a frustrating hobby for a good amount of time,
Indeed,
and
indeed.
it's not something that I can just cut out. So I'm rather looking forward to it.
I mean, listen, a former Man City player. I mean, look, levels say itself. When I was interviewing Cezinio, one of the things that I found quite impressive was the consistency in
Yeah,
the gameplay. It's almost it's almost what how do you, yes, of course you can get better, but how do you find the time to perfect a particular area of your game, and also knowing what area you need to perfect as well. These are the things that I find
yeah.
quite fascinating.
Um, when it comes to certain, let's say you want to improve in your attacking. Now, there's different aspects of attacking, as you all know. There's skills, passing, movement of the players. There's so many things. I'd say if you practice it constantly and grind it on, I think it can take for anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks to master something. I
Yeah.
mean, I've been. I can safely say I love the one-touch passing and I love scoop turns, and that has taken me 2 FIFAs to master properly inside and out.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
with me personally, that's because I used to frustrate myself, but it happened quite slowly.
Mm.
But I think it could take from anywhere 2 to 3 weeks if you put the effort in, if you listen to the advice that's given to you.
Absolutely.
Um, because if you don't listen to the advice that's given to you, there's not much we can do personally. Because end of the day, it's someone else when they're watching your gameplay, they can see what you're doing wrong.
Mm.
Uh, and in order to get better, you're going to have to listen to that advice. And I've seen quite a few people. I won't name any people, but I've had a few people saying that no, it's because of this, it's because of the gameplay. But you
Mm.
know, those mistakes sometimes happen consistently, and they must
Exactly.
be
Because
happening
of the lag.
consistently
It's
for a
because of the
reason.
lag.
Exactly. But guys, you shouldn't be ashamed to ask for help. You shouldn't be ashamed that you're making mistakes. Um, it's a learning pathway. At the end of the day, if you want to get to where you are, there's going to be obstacles, and
Absolutely.
you got to overcome those obstacles. And sometimes
No,
you gotta give in and ask for help, and there's nothing wrong with that.
nothing wrong with it at all. Well,
No.
well said. Right. So we've got someone in the chat. Owen Mull one. To qualify for FGS, you have to get like top 250 in your region in the division rivals leaderboard. Um, that sounds about right.
More
Sabercat?
or less right, but I think to verify, you have to get verified, don't you? Because Harvey was explaining it to me the other time.
Mm,
I know to obviously qualify for the actual FUT Global Series. I know about the 250 places,
yeah,
but to get verified, etc. That's the first step, isn't it? I
yeah.
mean, if you're not verified, you can't enter the
You can't
FUT Global
exactly. You have to
Series.
verify. If you want to know
To,
more, just jump on our socials, mate. We've got it all
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Or feel free to DM, Sabercat or Harvey. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Right.
yeah.
Ladies and gents, just want to review the show quickly. So we started off with our recent PS5 tourney winner, James, who I'm hoping is still listening because I want some of that £75 voucher, bro. Come on, man, put something aside. I'm sure you can get. I'm sure you can get me something from that money. But these prizes are getting bigger and bigger. Like I was saying to him earlier, and when we had Harvey on, I think it was, I can't remember the cash prize, so forgive me, but it was cash prize. It wasn't anywhere near the £70. And we've now sort of grown, not just in prize money, but also in the challenge, the competitive edge, and in sponsorship and branding. But listen, Umar, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. I'm looking forward to our time on the FUT Show and continue now that we've got a face to the name. And this is your PGS FUT coach, everybody, Umar. Right, so that was Umar. Great guy. We spent a lot of time sort of planning ahead, trying to sort out our next show for you guys. The FUT Show, it's coming by popular demand. We know that there are a lot of you asking for some advice, which is great, and we are loving it. So again, I want to shout out all the PGS platform players, everyone who is in their leagues currently about to start, all tourneys. Well done. Thanks for sticking with us. Thanks for continuing to make the platform healthy, the community sound. But before I go, I want to shout out Cozy, who continues to do great work in the backgrounds, the PGS Chiefs, head honchos, for allowing us this platform to be able to give you some excerpts and a bit of a snapshot into everyday PGS life. It's been a great show. Look forward to seeing you in another week and a bit, and enjoy your evening. Have a great time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yes, PGS, PGS, we, PGS, yeah.